Hi, this is Edward Troxel. There's been some talk on the forum recently about wanting to copy volume envelope points to other volume envelopes on other tracks and being able to do it to multiple tracks instead of just a single track. So there's also been some questions about, can we do other envelopes such as automation envelopes in an effect? So let's take a look at that and see how we can copy, first of all, to multiple tracks, and second of all, do all of the envelopes on an audio track instead of just the volume envelope. So let's take a look at that in this tutorial. Here's the project we're going to look at. We actually have a volume envelope here, but I've also got an effect added that has a separate envelope on it, and if we go into the effect and we click on this Configure FX Automation, you will see that we have semitones checked. All the rest of these are unchecked, and that is the extra envelope that we are adding. One restriction I am going to add to this is that any envelope you want copied over to another track has to already be on that track. So here I've added a new track with the vibrato and the volume. Here's another one with the vibrato and the volume. If I move the vibrato a little bit, you can see it. And then move this one a little bit, and you can see that there. So here's the code we're going to look at to see about doing that. First of all, I need a source track. What I've decided to do is we're going to select the tracks we want to process. And we're going to assume that the first selected track is the source, and the following selected tracks are the destinations. So if you had tracks 1, 2, 3, and 4 selected, as I did here, track 1 will be the source, and track 2, 3, and 4 will be the destinations. So I am initially setting my track source equals null, and then I'm going to go through each of the tracks in the project. So for each my track in myvegas.project.tracks, if my track dot selected, then I need to check to see, do I have a source yet? So if my source equals null, then I'm going to say this is my source track. Otherwise, I want to process the envelopes, passing it the source track and the current track I'm looking at, which will be my current destination, which will be my track. So we will call this process envelopes routine to process all of the envelopes on that track, and then we'll continue going through the rest of the track, and each of the selected tracks will be processed with this process envelopes. So here is the process envelopes routine. We're sending it the source track and the destination track. So now I need to go through all of my envelopes in the source track. So for each envelope, my envelope in source.envelopes, I want to see if that envelope exists on the destination track. So I want to find the envelope. This is the envelope I'm looking for, and I want to find it on the destination track. The find envelope will return the envelope to me. So if the envelope was not equal to null, if we did find an envelope, then we want to copy the points from my envelope to the envelope that we found. So the next routine we need to look at is this find envelope. Here's the find envelope routine. We are passing it a source envelope, we are passing it a destination track, and it is going to return a type envelope. So we're going to go through each envelope, my envelope in the destination envelopes. Then if the type of the envelope I'm looking at on the destination track is the same as the source type, and my envelope.name is the same as the source name, then I am going to return that envelope. Otherwise, I am going to throw a message up on the screen that says that that envelope was not found because you had not added that envelope to that track. And it would return a null, which means it would simply be not processed. Remember, if it's not equal to null, then we copy the points. If we return null, then it will not copy the points. So let's look at copy points. Here is the copy points routine. We're passing it the source envelope, and we're passing it the destination envelope. So the first thing we're going to do on our destination envelope is clear all of the points. Then we're going to go through all of the envelope points and get each individual envelope point. So for each envelope point, and we're just going to call that my point, in the source envelope dot points, we're going to see if there is one. So we have an envelope point of A equal to the destination envelope dot points dot get point at X, and the X is my point dot X. If A equals null, then we need to create a new point because there was not one there. So A equals new envelope point, and the location is my point dot X, and the value is my point dot Y. And then for the destination envelope dot points, we add this new point. Otherwise, we did find a point, and we simply changed the Y value equal to my point dot Y. And that will copy all of the points over for that particular envelope. So let's see how this works. So now we run our script, and you will see that all of the points were copied to all of the other tracks. So each one of these points is now matching the source track. If we undo this, and let's say we go in and let's just remove this effect and run it again. Here we have an envelope vibrato of type automation min on track 3 was not found. So here's our track 3 is where we remove the effect, and we just click on OK, and you can see everything else was copied correctly. So it will just ignore it if it was not found, but it will warn you that it wasn't found. So here we see that not only can we copy the main envelopes that we're used to looking at, such as volume, but we can also look at the individual envelopes that can be produced when automating an effect over time. So the automation envelopes can also be affected using the script. I have not found a way to add the automation envelopes using the script, but once they're there, we can definitely process them. So I hope you find this tutorial useful. Let me know what you'd like to see in the future. Subscribe, and see you in the next tutorial. Please sign up at www.jettv.com and subscribe on YouTube to get further notifications on when new videos are presented.